welcome to the Wales Millennium Centre, this marvellous, beautiful building. And welcome to the official Doctor Who convention. Talk us through the making of Going Away to Be Welcome to the stage, the writer, Tom McRae, and the producer, Marcus Wilson. It didn't start off like this when you first started coming up with ideas. So talk us through some of the different ideas you had before we ended up with what we got.
Well, the start of it was always the time glass. That was the first. There's an idea I had for a long time in deciding that you could look through this magnifying glass but see the same place at a different time. And the original idea was that it was going to be a way of looking into a prison, like a guy looking through the hole in the door. And then Stephen said, oh, actually, we've got this kind of monitor prison thing, so how about a hospital? So then I made it a hospital, and then it turned out there was a pirate ship hospital kind of a thing, and then I made it a quarantine facility, which is sort of a hospital, but not. And then...
It was different enough to get away with it.
Yeah, and then the sort of the idea that old Amy and young Amy could meet was sort of vaguely there, and then when they did, it suddenly became very clear that that was the most exciting idea about it, and that all the sort of running around in time streams was secondary to that. So it became much more an emotional story for Amy and for Rory.
And was it quite nice for you as a writer to be able to sit down and play with these characters' emotions and really go to town on that? So it wasn't so much a big action-packed aliens invading, but you were actually focusing very much on the heart and soul of the companions.
Yeah, I didn't really know Karen very well at the time, but I knew Arthur, and I wanted to give him a good Rory story. Not that he's neglected, but that obviously he's not always as at the forefront, so I wanted to give a really good, meaty story for him. And then through that, obviously, Karen got to do this fantastic part for her, where she got to play these two characters and did it completely brilliantly. But it's nice when you do a show like Doctor Who. All the impossible stuff is about talking about real things, rather than the sort of sci-fi which I don't really like, which is spaceships for the sake of spaceships. I mean, something like 1984 is one of the greatest sci-fi novels ever written, but it's never called that because it's seen to be, it's political, but actually it's sci-fi. Doctor Who's the same thing. It's heartfelt drama about relationships and people and humanity, but told through a prism of science fiction. So it's nice to be able to take ideas like loss and ageing, all those things that you could see in a kind of gritty, realistic drama, and take those exact same ideas but tell them in a completely different, impossible way.
What I wanted to talk to you about is you had that joy in your episode of creating a new robot, a new monster.
Yeah.
Very briefly, where did the idea for the handbox come from?
I absolutely honestly, my brief to myself was come up with something that will finally get made into a toy.
Yeah.
And I was always very upfront about that, wasn't I?
I thought it was even simpler. What I loved about when I first read the script was I could imagine kids at the playground.
Oh, you're doing all that. I wanted to have, and hopefully that happened. I mean, my original idea was just the blank face, and it was just a kind of an orderly uniform. And then Nick wanted to have more kind of body armour, and then somehow the money was found to do all that. But I was trying to come up with something that hadn't been done before.
I want to bring on two more people to our panel. We were talking about handbots, so I'd like to bring on the man who designed and built the handbots, which is Robert Alsop, and also our prosthetics designer who did the aged Amy, Neil Gordon. So what in the script led you to come up with that actual, which I think is a very unique and very amazing design? I mean,
certain things were kind of set in the script, the human hands, the blank, I think the blank egg-shaped head was in the script as well, wasn't it? So those were kind of a given anyway, and then I wanted to do something that was different to anything that had gone before in the series, and just come up with something that was a believable robot.
now I gather that we've got a handbot.
Oh, really?
Yes. Could you come on, please, handbot? That's really quite creepy. Okay, keep the hands away from me, thank you very much. So you're responsible for this, that must make you kind of quite proud, really.
Yeah, yes, I think they turned out all right.
Yeah, brilliant. Now, Neil, you've obviously done an awful lot of things like this in the past.
Indeed.
But for this story, you're responsible for what I think is one of the most amazing pieces of makeup going, which is aging Amy.
Indeed.
And yet not making her look in any way unattractive.
Yeah, it was can you make them middle-aged, but still attractive and beautiful and all these things and fresh and vibrant, and it's like, I mean, Karen's got such a beautiful face, so young looking, and she's got all the things that basically make it really difficult to age her. You know, she's got a very round face, very full cheeks, big eyes, you know, very full lips. It's everything that if I'm sitting down with an agent on an actor, you know, it just makes it really difficult. And you did, you know, it was also the fact that you're seeing her switching all the time, so you constantly got that comparison in shots. So it was a tough one, but I think it worked out okay. I was pretty happy with it. It's the fact that you normally deal with visibility issues, and it's something that you can rehearse. All this movement all your life, the minute you put on a helmet where you've only got a small amount of forward vision, suddenly, I mean, we had this with the Sideback where it was, again, the first time we shot the scene of them marching in a line across towards a house. And of course, you put 10 people in these masks with only forward vision. Of course, they all start bumping into each other because they can't see each other. So they all just. So then there was all kinds of things, tying string between wrists to try and keep people in line. So we ended up with it was all this crazy thing, and then we ended up with a V formation, because then at least the person behind can see the person in front, and but of course then that gets worked into the character. So they now go in certain formations, but it's also that they can see where they're going.
As well, which I didn't realise from the Sideman one, was that the kind of the iconic cyber gesture of that was supposed to be that,
Yeah.
but they couldn't
Get the right. Yeah, Russell had given this whole, you've got to do this whole move, and then it was first fit, and it was like, sorry.
So, Rob, guys, we've got to wrap it up, I'm afraid. But thank you very much for your insights and everything you've made me able to do. So, for now, will you please thank Neil Horton,